You don't need harder, more complicated chords in order to sound great on the piano. In today's video, I'm going to show you 4 simple rhythm ideas that are going to transform the way that you play, so that without even hardly trying, you will go from any chord progression to sounding like a pro in just minutes. And these rhythm ideas can be used in any chord progression, which makes it even better. By the end of this video, you will be playing confidently and with a beautiful chord progression with different rhythm ideas that are going to make you too sound like a pro. Today, I'm going to give you a chord progression in the key of C major. And C major simply means only white notes between C and C. Okay, we are going to have one exception to that today, but I will show you what that is in a minute. So let's do this in both hands at the same time in the root position or the stacked position. So we're going to start with our number 1 chord, which is the C major. So that is C, E, and G. Then we're going to move to the 3, but instead of making it E minor, which is what it would be, we're going to take this G and we're going to raise it to a G sharp and make it an E major. Now, I'm not going to get into all of the theory today, but this is actually called a secondary dominant. And if you want to learn more about secondary dominants and how to use them in your chord progression, go ahead and click on this link because it shows you exactly how to use a secondary dominant in your playing, and it creates a little bit of mystery, and I love the sound of these unexpected notes. This is the only black note in this chord progression, I promise. So this is our E major, and then we're going to go up 1. We're going to go to our 4 chord, which is an F major, F, A, and C. Only 2 more. We're going to, from the 4 chord, go back to the 1, which is the C major, and then we're going to go to the 5, which is our G. So we're going to go up here to a G major, and then back to 1. Okay, so let's try that one more time. And this time when we're doing it, I want to do half notes. Okay, so we're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then to the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4 to F. 1, 2, 3, 4 back to C. 1, 2, 3, 4 to G. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then to C. 2, 3, 4. Now, a lot of times people get stuck right there. They're not sure exactly how to make a song out of something like that. And so what we're going to do is we're going to be focused on some left-hand rhythmic patterns that are going to change that basic chord progression from just being boring and stacked chords to something that is really interesting, really not by doing much and actually by reducing the number of notes that we're playing at a time, which is cool. So the first rhythmic pattern is just a foundational hold. Okay, so this one is going to still stay in half notes, which is 2 beats. But instead of doing the root position chords, we're going to take it into representative chords of an octave. So this time, instead of playing the C, we're going to play just a C to C. It doesn't seem to make a lot of sense when we go to the E, because this could either be an E minor or an E major. We don't really know because we've taken those notes out, but we're going to recover that in the right hand, so don't worry about that. So then we'll go to E, and then F, and then back to C, to G, and then C. Okay, so that's all the left hand is doing, while the right hand then is going to be playing chords. Now I'm going to start really easily, and I'm going to play root position chords, which is the stacked version, because that's where we start out, right? And a lot of times people don't really know what to do beyond this, but I'm going to give you a hint for that first. But for right now, I'm going to move up an octave here so I don't run into one another. And I'm going to show you then how we can make it sound already more like a song just by doing half notes over here. So it'll sound like this. Now, it's still a little bit boring, so the only thing that I'm going to change is in my right hand, I'm going to arpeggiate those. Arpeggiation I use a lot in my videos, and that simply means taking a chord that is stacked on top of one another and playing the notes individually. And you don't have to play them in any particular order. You can start in the middle, start at the top, whatever you want. So that's the only thing that I'm doing. And here, by how we change the arpeggiation in the right hand and still keep the octaves in our left hand, how it automatically becomes more interesting. And then it can go from these blocked chords to something that sounds like this. Hear how automatically that was a little bit more interesting. If you wanted to expand it a little bit more, I'm just going to do a quick idea of what inversions are. Inversions scare people sometimes because they're not used to it in their hand. When you think of a chord, a lot of times we think of these stacked chords. However, you don't have to think of it that way. You can try this where we take the bottom note and we put it at the top. Now we have a third down here, and then we have what is the octave up here. So this is still the C chord, even though it is not played in root position. Okay, so that's the first inversion, and we can do that one more time. We can take this bottom note, this E, which was our original third, right, and put that at the top. Now we have a third at the top, and we have this original fifth on the bottom. So that is still C, E, and G, but it is played in this new position. So all of our different C chords could look like this. Here's our root position, first inversion, second inversion. And all of those sound a little bit different, but it's still the same. This does take a little bit of practice to get this in your hands. However, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pretend that I have spent a lot of time practicing my inversions. So this is really a good place to pause the video if you want to practice this, because this goes beyond the regular stacked chords, which is kind of a leap for some people. So you pause it, you practice the inversions, and then you can come back. Now, the only thing that I'm going to add to the right hand right now with our first pattern in our left hand of these two notes, these two half notes, is inversions. So I'm still going to do arpeggios over here, but it may be in different inversions as I go. So then it can go from our original boring to something that sounds a little bit more like this. So that already sounded a lot better. However, there wasn't a lot of interest in the left hand. So this next pattern I really like because it combines with the right hand. This next pattern I'm calling the pepperoni pizza pattern, and that's because our rhythm goes pepperoni pizza. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Now this one is going to have one added note in our left. So instead of just doing the octave, we're going to add our fifth here with our second finger. And this comes from our original chord that is stacked on top of one another, how we have a third and then we have a fifth on top. This fifth is what we're adding. Okay, so let's go through these really quick with our left hand to make sure that we have our fifths in here. We have our C with our G in the middle. We have our E major with our B in the middle. The G sharp is going to be on your right hand side. We have F with our C in the middle, and then we go back to C, and then we have our G with D in the middle, and then back to C. Okay, so we're going to arpeggiate now the left hand, and in the right hand, we're going to complete the pepperoni pizza pattern in the right. So let's just start off slowly. So in the left, I have C, G, and C, and then I'm just going to start with this inversion of our C. So we have E, G, and C. You can do any of them here, okay, just to practice. So we're going to start over here, pepperoni pizza. Okay, so that was all of them. And you don't have to do that order either. It could be something like this. Pepperoni pizza. Pepperoni pizza. All of those, okay? 1 and 2 and 3, 4. So now I'm going to combine that pattern for all of these different chords. Let's see how this sounds. So when you combine those, they don't have to do it every single time, but now you have the foundational hold of your left hand. Your second choice is doing that pattern. So now let's go to our third pattern, and this includes a triplet. I really enjoy using triplets because they're kind of an offbeat sound and they just help the sound a little bit more exciting. In our left hand, we're going to keep the fifth in the middle for each one of these, and I'm going to hit them all together this time in a quarter notes. We're going to go 1, and then in our right hand, using one of our inversions, we're going to do a triplet. So it's going to be over 1 beat. So it's 3 notes, but it's over 1 beat. So it's going triplet, 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 triplet. Okay. Let's keep the same inversion that we started with the last time here, and we're going to do a triplet using an arpeggio like this. So we'll go 1, triplet, and then for the 3, 4, we're going to do another note in the right hand, 3, and then 4 is going to be on the left. So it's going to sound like this when you put it all together, and I'm going to count it out every single time so you can see what I'm doing with the triplet pattern. 1, triplet, 3, 4, 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 1, like that, and it can just continue on and on that way. If this video is already jiving with you and you're learning something new, go ahead and do me a favor and hit the like button. That helps this video be found by other people just like you who are trying to up their piano improvisational game. Now make sure that you stick with me because this next section is my favorite rhythmic pattern, and it's one that I go back to over and over again. Our last rhythm is called an offbeat bounce because we're going to be using our thumb as our offbeat. And what I mean is we're going to make use of the ands. So when we count our 4 beats, we usually go 1, 2, 3, 4. But now I want you to think of them in eighth notes. So we're going to think of it like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And I want your thumb to hit on the ands just as an introduction. So like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That's making use of the ands. Okay, so this is going to be a rhythm filler, and it kind of helps out when we are using our different patterns in our left hand. For this one, you can choose to do the representative chords with the fifth in the middle like this, like we have been doing, and using your thumb here as the and. It's kind of like a little lever where your hand is opening up. So I want you to think of your wrist as turning this way when you make that thumb go down. We're not just holding our wrist in place and then moving your thumb. If you do that, that's going to lead to thumb problems actually and wrist problems. So this is it's kind of like a turning of the doorknob thing. So just go ahead and try that, play them all together, and then just make your thumb go open and closed like that, just so that you understand it. And then in the right hand, we're going to play any notes of the chord that is there. So you can do simple chords over here or a random melody, but we've been doing chords, so we're going to stick with that. So here's the pattern. We're going to do 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then move to our next one. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. This is the one that I use the most often because these little using of the ands here, and we're just using the last one, but it helps fill in sound so that it doesn't become boring and it doesn't change anything. The only thing you're doing is making use of the ands. Okay, so in the right hand, you can do any kind of rhythmic pattern using those inversions that you want to. So I'm going to show you how this can come together using only chords. And then I'm going to give you one final step if you want to take this a step further and add some kind of a melody over here where you can introduce different notes in the right hand side. Let's try this out so that you can hear this all together. So see how that feels, and you can absolutely go as slowly as you need to, especially because this little bump happens really fast, okay? So you're thinking of this as almost like a little staccato note. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. You can see how it goes really fast. It's just a little bump and then you're moving on. If you want to take this just a step further in the right hand, I'm going to show you about 5-finger positions. I have lots of videos on my channel that employ 5-finger positions if you want to get into this a little bit more and understand them in different keys. But this is the key of C major. But remember today that we were using the G sharp, so you can sometimes use the G sharp, especially when we're in the right hand with the E. You can make use of that G sharp as well, and I encourage you to in order to make it sound like that chord, because we're not doing the G sharp over here. So here's what I mean by 5-finger positions. Let's start with a regular stacked C major chord right here. And when you have your notes stacked, you have 2 fingers that are not playing. That is the 2 and the 4, and that's the D and the F. So if you played all 5 of those, not at the same time, but separately, it would sound like this. So then I'll move down here an octave. I just want you to hear how I can create a little melody using those 5 notes. So that was still a C chord, but I was employing these other 2 notes around it. This is called using passing tones. A lot of times people don't understand where they come from, but really all it is using any notes of the scale, but it's the ones that are around you while you're playing that note. Let's look at the different inversions of this, of our C major, just so that you can see what this looks like here. For this one, I have the C on the top, and I'm not using my 3-finger or my 4-finger over the A and the B. So then there's our new 5-finger position. So now let me use that pattern and show you a little melody here. All of that was just from the 5-finger position. And now let's look at the last one, and I'm not going to go through all of the chords this way, but that's where they come from. And so when I play this final version, you're not wondering, where did all of those notes come from? This is where it came from these 5-finger positions. The last one, we put the E up on the top. And so now I have G, C, and E, and the 2 notes that are around that I haven't used are the B and the D. So here's our new 5-finger position. So let's listen to something here. And that is from the 5-finger position of that chord. So now I'm going to use the final offbeat bounce pattern over here with that little extra bounce of the thumb. And I'm also going to use my 5-finger positions. Let's hear how all of this can come together. So drop a note in the comments. Which one of these rhythms was your favorite and you think that you'll be able to return to time and time again? I want you to try them out and go ahead and click on this video next because it's a great chord progression to try out these rhythmic ideas. Good luck!